you are. You're Emily Fincher. I've seen you before. You're the new girl who moved in next door to Bobby Dodson. He told me your name. You live in my best friend Jen's house. At least it was her house, up until 2 weeks ago when she moved to Kentucky. Her dad got a new job there. So, why'd you ring my doorbell? No, I don't feel like playing outside today. I'll see you. Well, just because I don't feel like it, that's why. Besides, I'm real busy doing something real important in my room. All right, I guess you can come in. My mom would be mad if I told you no. She said I should be nice to you since you're new on the circle and all. She told me we might be in the same 3rd grade class when school starts. So, come on in if you want, but you can only stay for a while. My room is this way. No, I'm not moving anywhere, silly. I just got all this stuff on the floor because I'm packing it all in this big box. I don't need any of it anymore. I'm throwing it all away. Hey, give that here. No one can touch this rock but me. I'm supposed to keep it in my pocket. I promised my best friend Jen I would. She gave it to me the day she moved. Jen says it's magic, but I used to think so too, but now I think it's just some dumb old rock she picked up down near the river. But I crossed my heart I wouldn't throw it away. Hey, put that down. Boy, you sure are nosy. Well, can't you see? It's just a big old rotten spoon, that's all. My mom gave it to me and Jen so we could stir our witch's brew with it. No, silly. I'm not a real witch. Jen and me just like to pretend we are. We make this really gross, disgusting brew in a big gray trash can that Jen's dad almost threw out, but he gave it to us instead. Did you ever make witch's brew? Well, lots of things go in it. Well, you know, lots of things. Dandelions and pine straw and leaves, mud, grass, helicopters, pine cones. No, silly, not real helicopters. You know, those little green things that fall down from the trees near the sidewalk? They look like helicopters. Jen and I think so, anyway. Sometimes we pick up the yellow roses from Mr. Baker's bushes, and then we mix it all up with this wooden spoon. It looks really gross when we're done. One time, we dared William Davenport to drink it. We wanted to put an evil spell on him. You mean you haven't seen William yet? Well, you better stay away from him when you do, because he's really mean, especially to girls. He won't like you at all. He'll probably take his slingshot and shoot you with it behind your knees. Or he might drop a green snake down the back of your shirt like he did me once. One morning he ripped up Jen's report card at the bus stop. You better just stay away from him. Hey, don't mess with that. It's a lunch tray. Don't you know what a lunch tray looks like? It goes right in this box with everything else. I got it from Herbie Wilson. His mom gave it to him. from the school cafeteria. That's where she works. Herbie lives on the other side of the circle, in the blue house with red shutters on it. Yeah, I guess he's pretty nice for a teenager anyway. No, silly, the tray's not for picnics, it's for sledding. Don't you know anything? See, Jen and me sit on it like this. And then we ride down the hill in her backyard. I mean, your backyard. Yeah, it's loads of fun, but you really shouldn't try it. I mean, it's sort of scary if you don't know how to do it right. Besides, it doesn't snow much here. Me and Jen used to make up snow dances so that we get lots of snow. Yeah, sometimes they work. We had almost 7 inches once when we were in 1st grade. But now I don't care if it ever snows again. Well, because Jen's mom won't be here to make snow cream anymore. She makes the best snow cream in the whole wide world. You never had snow cream? Gosh, I never met anybody who's never had snow cream before. Well, it's easy. You mix snow up with some other stuff like eggs and sugar. It's really delicious. Oh, it's clean snow if that's what you're wondering. Jen and me always make sure we find clean snow. Right in Mr. Bass Knight's backyard. Oh, he lives in the house with all the birdhouses in front. Some of the older kids say that Mr. Bass Knight buried his wife in his backyard a long time ago. They say once they saw a grave back there. And there was a ghost sitting on top of it. Jen says they were just trying to scare us. But I think it might be true about Mr. Bass Knight's wife. So you better not try to get snow over there. Don't worry about her. She's all right. That's just my dog, Rosie. She's been sleeping under my bed. I bet she woke up when she heard me talking about snow cream. She loves it. Her and Snooks get their own bowls full. Snooks is Rosie's husband, but he moved to Kentucky with Jen. Sure, you can pet her. I told you, she doesn't bite or anything. Yeah, I think she's pretty too. My dad says Rosie's real special because she's lots of different kinds, all wrapped up in one. No, Snooks isn't a bit like Rosie, and he's only one kind of dog. Some long name, I forget it. He's real short, and his bottom teeth stick out, and his nose looks all smushed in. But Rosie loves Snooks anyway. It was Jenny's idea for them to get married on top of the big wood pile behind Mr. Gadrow's shed. Here, see these green beads? Snooks gave them to Rosie at the wedding. I bet she wants me to put them in the box with all my other stuff. Don't you, Rosie? Well, sure. The wedding was loads of fun. Me and Jen were the flower girls. We got a bunch of buttercups out of the field next to the Jordans, and then we threw them all over Rosie and Snooks. Yeah, we thought it was funny too. Then we gave them one of those big giant milk bones, and they we shared it. And my mom made me and Jen chocolate chip cookies and punch. It was really fun. Do you have a dog? A lab? Hey, that's one of the kinds that Rosie is. What's your dog's name? Bernie. I like that name. I guess you could bring him over one day, but I'm not sure that Rosie will like him because, hey, those are my skates. Get them here. I was looking for them. I need to put them in a box. Jen and me used to roller skate all the time. We pretend that Marjorie Tetlow's driveway was a roller skating rink. It's real wide, and it's the smoothest one on the circle. See my bright pink wheels? Jen's have purple ones. You have skates? Yellow wheels? Cool. I guess so. But I don't know if Marjorie Tetlow will let you skate on her driveway. Sure, maybe I can ask her, but hey, be careful. That's the sign from mine and Jenny's tree house. See? It says, Jenny and Molly live here. Mr. Sproul made it for us. He's Jen's grandpa. He made our tree house too. Yeah, it's pretty neat. But there's not a lot to do up there now. Not since Jen's been gone. We used to sneak pomegranates off Mrs. Gabriel's tree and eat them up there. One time, we were eating our lunch up there, and Jen threw one of her marshmallows down to one of the ducks from the river. And I had to get my dad to help the duck get its beak open. Yeah, we thought it was funny too. Hey, you want to know a secret? Promise not to tell anyone? Cross your heart. Well, the day after Mr. Sproul finished our treehouse, we went up in it and made ourselves into blood sisters, me and Jen. We did it with a safety pin. Well, first we got a safety pin out of my mom's sewing box. And then Jen stuck her finger. And then she helped me stick mine. And then we rubbed them together real hard. And that's how we got to be blood sisters forever and ever. Come on, you never heard of having a blood sister? I mean, it didn't really hurt or anything. It just felt like a little sting, just for a second, that's all. It wasn't really deep. Oh, you do? A real blood sister? Like Jen and me? Well, where is she? Wow, that's pretty far away. I think that's even farther away than Kentucky. What's your blood sister's name? Laura? I like that name. Hey, what's wrong? Are you getting ready to cry? Gosh, I didn't mean to make you cry, really. Are you okay? Hey, I've got a great idea. Let's go down to the river and find you a magic rock like mine. Sure, I bet we can find you one, and then you can keep it in your pocket just like I keep mine. Come on, Emily Fincher. I'll race you there. Hello? Ma? Here? It's me, Angela. Ma? Christ, how the hell are you sleeping with those kids running around like wild Indians up there? And those punks blasting that music across the hall. Ma, can you hear me? Wake up. I've come to see you. Mrs. Annarino tracked me down. She tells me you've been sick. Christ, Ma, you really ought to open a few shades in this place. Maybe crack a window or two. So, Mrs. Annarino tells me you haven't showed up at the factory in a few days. She says there's talk you might lose your place on the line. Okay, Ma. Mrs. Annarino told me the news. She told me you got cancer. And that's why I came down, to see you. Ma, you listening? Ma. Well, I can see nothing much else has changed besides that tumor you got growing inside of you. I mean, there you are, laying on the same old ratty couch. Look it. I know you probably weren't looking to see me here. It's been a lot of years, 6 come October. But here I am. Come on. Sit up and look at me, Ma. There you go. Here. Move your legs over so I can sit next to you. My God, you are still drinking, aren't you? No, I didn't come here for any arguments either. You're right. Ma, I already told you. I just came to see you, that's all. I guess I thought you gave it up a while back. Christ, Ma, I don't know what made me think that. I guess I was just really hoping it. Ever since the day I turned 15, I've been hoping it. Remember what happened that day, Ma? That was the day I finally got up enough nerve to walk out the door. I really thought you'd quit your drinking then. Why, Ma? I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it's because I thought I was the reason you always hit the bottle. Hell, back then, I thought everything was because of me. I thought it was because of me Dad beat the living crap out of you. It was my fault the bastard left one morning and never came back. It was my fault why we had to keep moving from one rat hole to the next. And it was all because of me why you never wanted nothing more for yourself than another drink. And I put the blame on myself all those years for why you didn't ever really love me. No, Ma, don't feed me that crap. You never loved me for even one day. You know, there's only one time that sticks out in my mind when I thought maybe you did. It was a couple of weeks after Dad split. What? I was about 9. You remember, Mom? It was the middle of the night, and I dared to tiptoe into your room and crawl up next to you in bed. I was sobbing real hard because I'd been dreaming that Dad was touching me all over like he used to. I was praying you weren't going to scream at me for waking you. And you didn't. You didn't say a word. You just rolled over and hugged me real tight, just like you meant it. And I remember I fell asleep in your arms. We slept like that the whole night. And in the morning,
when I woke up, I felt, I don't know, I guess safe for once in my life. We just laid there. And then you started to cry. And I asked you, Mama, why are you crying? And you didn't really answer me. You just started talking. Telling me you were going to quit your drinking. You even said you were going to go see Reverend Payne up at church. And I believed you, Mom. I wanted to believe you so bad, so I did. But you remember what happened when I got home from school that afternoon? Do you? I'm asking you, do you? Well then, let me tell you. There you were, all juiced up again, laying on the same stinking couch. An empty vodka bottle in one hand, and an ashtray full of cigarette butts laying next to you. And when you saw me, you started screaming at me for coming home. So I ran into the bathroom like I always did when I was too scared to do anything else. And I sat in the sink, looking at myself in the mirror like I did. But this time, I wasn't crying. No, this time I got real close in the mirror so I could see way inside my eyes. And I made a promise to myself. I promised myself that one day I was going to get away from all that mess. And it took me 6 years to do it, but I finally did. And I am not afraid no more, Mom. I got a family now, a husband and a baby girl. And my life is pretty decent. Oh, Tony's on the road a lot. Me, I'm working at a motel down at the shore, sometimes pulling doubles. And we don't get to see our baby as much as we want. But somehow we manage. We manage just fine. No, I don't have anything else to say, Mom. I was just sitting here thinking for a minute, that's all. Just thinking. You know, it's sort of funny in a way, I guess. You never taught me much of anything good. But there is one thing I learned from being your daughter. I learned how to survive. Thanks for the lesson, Mom, and so long. Singing phonogram for a Ms. Anne Maria Carlson. Happy birthday to you, cheek cheek. Happy birthday to you, cheek cheek. Happy birthday, dear Anne Maria. Happy birthday to you, cheek cheek. Damn it! How do you know it was me? Thanks. I don't recall anyone ever praising you for your operatic talents either. So, how's it feel, you old lady, you? Yeah? Well, you know, I woke up this morning with a terrible thought. Well, I realized I won't be able to trust you anymore. Because you're fucking 30 years old now, Annie. Yeah, I know, but I've got 6 whole months to go. Just think, right now there's a whole decade between us. Come on. Where did your sense of humor go? What, life becomes so serious now that you've turned 30? Well then tell me, did you have a fun day? You gotta be kidding. How come you work so late? I thought you'd be out on the town celebrating with that new beau of yours, Dan the man.
Actually, I was all set to sing to your answering machine. Oh, God, Annie, I'm sorry. What happened? Last time we talked, things were going great. Really? Oh, sounds like an absolute jerk. Yeah, I know. It sucks the big one, doesn't it? Hey, but listen, one guy's opinion doesn't mean shit. I mean, you've got a lot going for you. You're a fucking attorney for Paramount Pictures, for Christ's sake, so screw him. You deserve better than that. What do you mean, what's new with me? I'm all pissed off about some asshole dumping you. You're changing the subject. You always do that. It's like an art with you. Okay, I get the message. So let's talk about my thrilling life instead, right? So, where did I leave off? Oh, that's right. And I said we'd be moving back the end of June. So, here we are, back in good old Norfolk, Virginia, home to 100 zillion sailors. And now the Truitt family. Yeah, they're fine. Julie finished up kindergarten right before we left Connecticut. Yeah, can you believe it? 6 in August.
And Tyler will be in preschool in the fall, thank the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, the baby's fine.
Oh, she's starting to talk up a storm.
Sure, I guess it's okay being back.
Oh, but I just miss being so close to Manhattan.
The shopping really sucks here. And I really miss going to theater. But I'll adjust. Look, it's not like I have much of a choice. But the good news is there's 2 sets of grandparents who can't wait to babysit. Yep, he started back to work last week. I just hope he made the right decision leaving Wall Street. I mean, it's not going to be a piece of cake working with his dad. I just can't wait for the day I get to help plan the old man's retirement party. That's all. Hey, but I didn't call to talk about all this crap. It's your birthday, the big 3-0. Oh, I'd love to be with you today, too. Hey, listen, it's not my fault you chose to live on the other side of the country where you get to worry about earthquakes. Hurricanes just never had the same excitement for you, did they? Hey, what is the deal here? Did your sense of humor go out for the evening and leave you all alone? Well, then what's wrong? You upset about that guy? Oh, Annie, come on. You turned 30, not 80. Get off it. Listen, I've got an idea. Fly back east and I'll throw you a party. I don't know, I'd find a few people to come. There's probably a Granby High grad or two still hanging around. I'll throw you a party like the one your mom did that time. What was it, your 13th? How could I forget it? That was the party where we let the boys finally talk us into playing Spin the Bottle. And then your mother came down in the basement when it was my turn to kiss Mark Miller. Of course she knew what was going on. She may have been a prude, but stupid she wasn't. I know. Go ahead and say it. All Mark Miller wanted to do was kiss Sharon Bradford. Hey, now see, that's who I could have invited to your party. Not Mark, dummy, Sharon. She's back in town too. Well, because I ran into her over at the health club. We were in the locker room together.
Yep, still gorgeous. Yeah, we talked for a few minutes, but I didn't really hear anything she said. I was too busy searching for wrinkles. And damn it, I didn't see the first one. Hey, but the good news is, her boobs haven't grown an inch since 7th grade. No, same old Sharon. Maybe a little more prissy, that's all. God, remember how much we couldn't stand being in drama club with her? Oh, that's right. And how furious we were when she let Sharon play Dorothy and we had to be flying monkeys. I swear, you know, it sounds crazy, but I wish I would have taken drama club more seriously. Well, because what if I really had the talent to be an actress? Who knows where I could be now? Broadway, Hollywood, London. I swear, that was always my biggest problem. I never took things seriously. Maybe I was just too afraid. Thanks. You've always been my biggest cheerleader. You know that? And that's what I just can't figure out. How come you always have more confidence in me than I have in myself? I miss you too, Annie. What's it been? 3 years already? I'll get out there one of these days. Really? Once the kids get a little older and all. Of course, by then, you'll probably be a shriveled up old prune. You're supposed to laugh. Try it. I promise it won't hurt. Hey, but speaking of shriveled up old prunes, guess whose obituary was in the paper the other day? No, I don't read them every day. But now that I'm back here, it's sort of like a game to see if I know anyone. Okay, I agree. It's a sick thing to do. You're absolutely right. So now guess whose name I saw? Give up? Birdlegs Bradley. And can you believe she was only 83? Yes, I swear that's what it said. I know. Didn't it seem like she was that old when she was teaching geometry? Can't you just hear her now? Miss Carlson and Miss Joyce, take a breath. God, we never shut up in there, did we? Oh, you little brat. You just had to bring that up, didn't you, huh? Yep. She flunked me all right. And you know what I could never figure out? How in the hell she ever passed you. Please, you didn't know a hypotenuse from a hippopotamus. The only thing either one of us knew how to do was to turn a boring as shit geometry class into a party. Depressing. Now why is that so depressing? Don't tell me you're getting teary over bird legs kicking the bucket. Now I get you. Mm-hmm. Yup. We always did know how to have a good time, didn't we? It was almost like magic or something. Remember what your father used to tell us? You girls have got the world by its tail. God, I swear, somewhere along the line it must have just slipped right out of my hand. Oh, come on, Annie. You've still got a pretty tight hold on it. Nothing. I was just thinking about the time we both probably started to lose our grip a little. Remember the night we ran out of gas? Boy, I really thought we were going to die that night. Honestly, I did. Oh, give me a break. What, I had my license 2-3 months? So big deal. I wasn't in the habit of checking the gas gauge yet. Yeah. But just imagine what would have happened if that cop hadn't shown up. Oh, you're not kidding. A total asshole. What did he say? Something like, "You girls look like you might be in trouble here." Too bad we didn't say, "No, officer, we derive great pleasure from sitting on the side of Granby Street, scared shitless at 2 in the morning." Pissed? Ha, that's putting it mildly. God, the minute my father opened the door, I thought I was going to die all over again. My stomach still feels real queasy when I think of that night. Well, just because the thought that I may have to do a scene like that again. Only next time, I'm going to have to play the parent. Don't worry, you'll know what I'm talking about one of these days. Of course you will. Oh, Annie, that's totally absurd. Your eggs aren't going to dry up just like that. There'll be plenty left when Mr. Wright comes along. Hey, but in the meantime, I've got a great idea. No, really. I'll send Tyler and Julie to stay with you for a while. Then you'll start counting your blessings instead of your eggs. No, actually, they're pretty good. It's just that kids aren't afraid of anything. Nothing scares them. And that absolutely terrifies me. Oh, I swear, I wish I could put them all in a cage and let them out when it's time for college. Yeah, I guess you're right. They'll grow up just fine. Look, we did. Annie, remember when it was time for us to leave for college? You know, I wasn't afraid of leaving my parents or getting homesick or flunking out. I was just scared to death about how I was going to take a breath without you. God, I know, it seems like eons ago, doesn't it? Oh, 1 second, it's like it all happened yesterday. And the next, it's a lifetime ago. You know, it reminds me of that incredible hologram exhibit we saw the last time I met you in New York. Mm-hmm. Remember how huge they were? And how some of the parts looked so close, like we could touch them? But when we put our fingers out, they weren't really there. Hey, how in the hell did we get started on all this? I was just calling to wish you a simple happy birthday. So, here goes. Happy birthday to you, moo moo. Happy birthday to you, woo woo. Happy birthday, Anne Maria, you old lady, you. Happy birthday to you, moo moo. God, it's so good to hear you laugh. I love you too, Annie. Bye now. Hey, Julie, open up. It's me, Liz. You awake? Jewel, open up. God, what took you so long? Of course I know it's the middle of the night, but it sure ain't the middle of the summer. Come on, let me in. It's freezing out here. Hey, is that a nice way to greet your only sister in the whole wide world? Well, I didn't mean to scare you. It's just that I've got the worst case of insomnia, and I was hoping you'd be up working on a story. I can see that blue glow coming from the computer, so I guess I took a good gamble, huh? Eric and the boys asleep? What? How am I supposed to know what husbands and kids do at 4 a.m. on Saturdays? I'm just a struggling actress, waiting tables, waiting for my phone to ring for a change. Maybe a lead role. Maybe a decent date. No, my phone's working fine. Why? Oh, give me a break, Jewel. Yeah, I know I could have called, and I was going to. I swear. But then I tried making myself fall asleep. I tried everything. Warm milk, hot bath, chamomile tea, lavender oil. I even drank a little scotch, but nothing worked. So then I picked up that little book of quotes by famous women, one you gave me for Hanukkah one year. Well, I thought maybe it would put me to sleep. But you know what happened instead? I actually started getting into them. I saw this one by Marlene Dietrich that said, "It's the friends you can call at 4 a.m. that really matter." You know, I read that and I realized something about Marlene. She must not have had a sister. Well, because if she did, she would have taken it one step further and said, "It's the sisters you can visit anytime, day or night, that really matter." No, I am not guilt-tripping you. I'm just telling you I couldn't wait until today, tomorrow, to tell you about what happened to me tonight. Oh, you know what I mean. Just let me tell you what happened. Come on, Jewel, please, please, please. I've got a special surprise for you if you say yes.
It is not bribery. Of course I appreciate deadlines, but can't you just forget about it for a few minutes? Hey, I've got it. Why don't you pretend like it's a lover
Waiting for you in your bed for you to come out of the bathroom in some really sexy nightgown he just bought for you. Is he going to step 1 foot out of that bed till you get there? I don't think so. Do you? Trust me, your deadline isn't going anywhere. Oh, come on, Lois Lane. Spare me just 15 minutes of your precious time, please. Great. I knew you'd come around. Okay, if that'll make you feel better, by all means. Go ahead, set the timer, no problem. So, okay, am I officially on the clock now? Super. You remember how I started taking that improv class last month? Well, in the beginning of the class, we do all this relaxation stuff. You know, stuff like stretching on the floor with our eyes closed, taking deep breaths and all. Well, get this. Last night while we were doing it, the instructor had us visualize ourselves in a situation that happened to us when we were kids. Then we're supposed to use it in an improv later on. Nope, absolutely nothing. I didn't see a thing. At first I got real paranoid that I was doing it all wrong, that I was going to make a total fool out of myself with the improv. And then I thought, big deal, Liz, it wouldn't be the first time. So I stopped obsessing about it. And after a minute or two, I guess, I saw us, you and me. We were sitting at that white round table in the kitchen. You know, the one with the funky chairs that Mom always complained hurt the back of her knees. Okay, I'll slow down. I'm just trying to beat the timer, that's all. All right, all right. So, we're sitting there staring at this huge plate full of brownies. It's filled with deep, dark chocolate squares with powdered sugar sprinkled just so on top. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I thought I actually smelled them. Boy, Jewel, will you ever change? Yes, of course, you look absolutely adorable. Just like you always did when you were, let's see, I looked about 5. So I guess you must have been 7. All I know is you look terrific, just like a little angel. Anyway, there I am, laying on the floor. Pardon me, Miss Webster. There I was, lying on the floor in the middle of my improv class, with my eyes closed, watching the two of us just looking at those brownies. I could see a piece of white paper on top of them, and there was something written on it. Remember what it was? Remember those ugly skulls and crossbones drawn with that thick black magic marker? You do, Jewel, don't you? Oh yeah, there's more. Well, there we are, sitting at the table. Next thing I see, I'm opening a corner of the plastic on one of the plates and real quick try to steal a brownie. But you grab my wrist in midair, just like I was going to burn myself. And I say to you, I just wanted to taste a little piece. But you held on to my wrist and you say back, if you touch one, Mom will kill you. No, not a thing after that. That was it. But because I got too scared and I had to open my eyes. Oh, I swear it felt so real. Can you believe it, Jewel? I was seeing something that happened so long ago. 35 years ago. It was like watching one of those old movies Dad used to take of us. But this time, the screen was in my head. Oh, yeah. Wait, I'm not finished. Huh. So, I just laid there on the floor. And all of a sudden, I remembered what happened next. You remember? Yeah, exactly. And then I started kicking the kitchen wall and hitting you like I was a total maniac. Oh, God. I'm really sorry, Jewel. Well, for doing that. Yeah, I know, but I can still say I'm sorry. You know what I'd really love to know? Well, I'd love to know if Mom ever made brownies just for us. I mean, maybe we were just too young to remember. Yeah. You're probably right. I just thought maybe. Right, I forgot about the beaters. Oh, yeah, they were pretty good, weren't they? Remember we used to see who could take the longest to finish? And the dried up pieces she used to cut off from the ends of the pan. We savored every crumb while we watched her put those perfect little brown squares, all sprinkled white, on the plates. Oh, those were the ones for someone else, weren't they? Someone who got married, got divorced, got the flu, got old, had a baby, had a hemorrhoid, had a bad day, lost their mother, lost their keys, lost their mind. You name it, they got brownies. And what did we get besides batter and burnt ones? Nothing. Zippity-doo-dah. Bookus. I swear it was like there was this beautiful brownie goddess who flew all over the city spreading chocolate manna. But in reality, she was some ugly sorceress who conjured up poison signs and threatened to kill her daughters. No, Jewel, I am not getting melodramatic. I am not. Hey, just stop trying to play Miss Objective newspaper reporter for a change. You said you remember what you told me that day in the kitchen. If you touch one, Mom will kill you. And I don't think either one of us understood how right you were. It would have killed me if I had eaten one. It would have killed you too. And I think it would have killed Mom. You realize that woman was so afraid if she just let us taste a little morsel of one of her chocolate prizes, God forbid we might have asked for something more from her, something more nourishing, more substantial. And she knew damn well she couldn't give us anything more. She didn't have it to give. So it was her ugly, black skulls and crossbones that kept us alive. You know, maybe I am sort of getting carried away here. Can't read the actors out of me, I guess. But I'll be fine. I just need to sit here and breathe for a minute. Oh, I almost forgot. Here's your bride. Hurry, open it up. Don't they look delicious? I couldn't find a recipe, so I winged it. Go ahead, take one. Tell me, Jewel, is that heaven or what? Yeah, a glass of milk sounds great, but not a lot though. I gotta get going. Jewel, I have to. Look, the sun's already coming up. I am totally exhausted. No thanks. The rest are for you. And believe me, there's plenty more where those came from. Hey, you got a deadline to meet. That stupid lover waiting in the bed analogy. What I'll come up with to get you to listen to me. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Jewel. You're welcome. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, you have a good day too. Bye. Well, good evening, Liza. I thought that sounded like your knock. Huh? No, not a thing. Just sitting here watching the sun fall behind the mountains. I was just getting ready to make a cup of tea. How about having a cup? Good. Then come on in and sit down. What do you think of this beautiful weather? Just yesterday, I noticed the lupins blooming along the highway. And I sure was glad to see the last few patches of snow melting off the mountains. Seems like it lasted forever this year. No, everything's fine, perfectly fine. Well, thanks for asking, sweetheart, but there's not a thing wrong in this world. And yes, before you even ask, I do have a very good reason for not being at the bus stop this morning. Well, because I called Mrs. Banks and told her I was sick.
Of course I'm not. I just finished telling you. I'm absolutely fine. Yes, Liza, you're right. I lied. But you know, I figure there isn't a bit of harm done. If one Monday in 18 years there's a speck of dust on Mrs. Banks' baby grand, or the fringes on her orientals aren't lined up just so. I'm telling you the truth. Nothing's wrong. Maybe a hot flash now and then. And that pain in my lower back is still there. But no real problems to speak of. Now, you just better stop acting like a nosy neighbor. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You know, I always appreciate your concern. I don't really think you're a nosy neighbor. So, why don't you just go right ahead and ask me why Cliff's pickup wasn't in the driveway all night? That's what you want to know, isn't it? Go on, ask me. Well, because I spit at him. That's why. I said I spit at him, plain and simple. We were just sitting out there in the driveway, in his truck, when I turned around and I went, just like that, right in his face. Sure, Liza, I'll tell you the whole story if you want. Well, all right then. It all started yesterday morning when Cliff talked me into going to his Uncle Paul's birthday party. Aunt Blanche gives him a surprise party the first Sunday of every June. This was Uncle Paul's 75th. And we haven't missed a one since the year we got married. Oh, I guess that was Uncle Paul's 60th. Anyway, it's some silly superstition in the Wyatt family that if you miss Uncle Paul's party, something terrible is going to happen to you. Oh, well, like the time Cliff's cousin Pete's maples were all tapped out. Everyone said it was because Pete missed Uncle Paul's party that year. Well, you know me, I'm not the superstitious type. I just went to get out of the house. Oh, it was fine, I suppose. Uncle Paul tipped all the way back in his rocker when we all yelled surprise, the same way he does every year. Aunt Blanche made beans and yeast rolls, just like always. Cliff's sister Patty brought a new boyfriend, just like she does every time. And Cliff drank enough beer to sink a ship, same way he always does. And I drove back with the old lug, passed out in the back of the truck, just like I do every year. Only difference is, this year I didn't drive straight home. Well, because I decided to stop off at Benson's Hardware to pick up a washer so I could fix that leaky faucet. He's been talking about fixing it for a year or so now. But the drip was driving me batty. Yes, Liza, of course I know it's still dripping. Guess you want to know why I haven't fixed it yet, huh? Well, it's the strangest thing. I sort of like how it sounds now. Listen. Drip, 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 drip. It's got kind of a pleasant rhythm to it, don't you think? Why, Liza, I beg your pardon. When have you ever known me to take a drink? I told you I'm fine. Now, you want to hear the rest or not? Okay. So, I leave Cliff sleeping in the back of the truck in the Benson parking lot while I run in to pick up the washer. When I walk over to the counter to pay, I get right behind this woman with a little girl. Precious little thing.
about 5 or 6. Coal black hair, long and straight down to the bottom of her back. Big dark eyes like moons, a little turned up nose, and lips the color of rose petals. She keeps turning halfway around, looking at me out of the corners of her eyes. And I smile at her each time, but she doesn't smile back. After a minute or two, her whole tiny body is turned facing me. She's swinging her arms back and forth and looking straight at me now. I keep smiling and I wave my fingers at her. And pretty soon, I see the corners of her lips curl up ever so slightly. Just then, the woman, I assume it's the little girl's mother, turns the little girl around by the shoulders real quick and says, "You stay right here, don't you touch a thing." And then the mother brushes by me to get out of line, so I turn my head just to see where she's going, when all of a sudden I hear something crash to the floor. And I turn around as quick as I can, and I see one of those hurricane lamps they have on sale near the checkout counter is in a million pieces around that little girl's feet. And everyone in the store is looking over to see what happened. And that little girl's just looking up at me with the fear of God in her eyes. So I bend down to make sure she's all right, just to check that none of the glass cut her. When all of a sudden, I hear that woman come up behind me and shout, "What in the world have you done now?" And then she pushes her way right between me and the little girl and starts smacking that child's face just as hard as she can. Oh, of course, the little girl starts crying. She's crying her heart out. And I'm just standing there watching her when something comes over me. And before I know it, I grab the woman's wrist so she'll stop doing what she's doing. And I say, "Miss, it was me who knocked that hurricane lamp over, not your little girl." She just stares at me with these real cold, beady eyes. And I stare right back at her. Oh, the little girl is crying so bad she can hardly catch her breath. "I know it, Liza. I can't believe I said it either. And I wasn't going to say another word. I swear I wasn't." But this little voice inside me says, "Lady, if indeed this little girl did knock that lamp over, it doesn't give you any right to do what you did." And the next thing I know, those words come tumbling off my tongue. "Liza, I told you, I know it's not like me." Well, it wasn't like me. Then the woman points her finger in my face and says, "You better mind your own effing business." And the poor little one is still trying to catch her breath, and she's looking up at me with those eyes flooded in tears. I take a tissue out of my purse and I get ready to hand it to her, when all of a sudden I feel this huge hand grab me by my arm. I know right away it's Cliff. He squeezes my arm tight, and I hear him say to the woman, "I'm sorry if my wife has caused you any trouble in this." And then he pulls me right out of the store, and I keep turning around to get one more look at the little girl. And that's when I just couldn't help it anymore. I burst out crying. So then, Cliff drags me even harder through the parking lot. And when we get to the truck, he tells me to give him back the keys and get in. So I do. And then I hurry to look out the window to see if I can spot the little girl anywhere. But I don't. Cliff squeals out of the parking lot, still half drunk and cursing at me for opening my mouth. after a while, I start to calm down some, and I clear my nose with that tissue I was still holding on to. And then I turn my whole body away from Cliff, and I lean up against the door. My legs up underneath me, my arms tucked inside my sweater, and my forehead pressed against the cold glass. And I just stare off outside. And that's when I noticed the lupins climbing up the sides of the mountains, and the last bit of snow melting off the tops. And little by little, Cliff's voice starts melting away too, until all I can hear is the sound of my own breath coming in and going out, coming in and going out, slowing down with each one. And in a while, I start to feel like I'm breathing way deep into my bones. One long breath after another. And before I know it, Cliff has made the last turn home. So I straighten myself up in my seat, but I keep my face turned toward the window until he pulls up in the driveway and comes to a stop. And that's when I turned around and I spit at him. Just like that. In his face. So, there you have it, Liza. That's what you wanted to know, wasn't it? No, I'm fine. Really, I am. I just think I might rest here for the rest of the night. Oh, I'm too tired to move. Would you mind turning off that lamp on your way out? Thanks, sweetheart. I'll see you at the stop in the morning.
Well, well, will you look at what the wind's blowing in through the back door? What on God's earth are you doing showing up at Old Thelma's this time of the evening, baby? Don't you see the sun's almost down? You know your mama don't like you down here visiting this late in the day. And no sweater on or nothing. It's not summertime around here no more, you know. And nights are starting to get right chilly. So you just better get up. Wait up. Hold on a minute. Come on over here so I can get a good look at you. What are your eyes doing all big and swollen like that? And they are as red as a fire truck, too. Now, what is going on? You know you can tell old Thelma. Wait. Slow down so I can hear what you're saying. Hold up. Take it easy now and tell me, who in God's name is Clarence? Your goldfish? Clarence is a fish. Well, I'm awful sorry to hear it, hon, but let's face it, fish don't stay alive forever. They're going to go sometime, just like the rest of us. Now, go ahead and get yourself a quarter from my change purse up there on the counter, and go buy yourself a new one tomorrow. Well, don't just stand there looking at me like that. Listen to what I say and go. Goodness gracious, what are you doing asking me questions like that for? Of course old Thelma's going to pass one day. Like I said, we all do. Being 6 years old now, that's something you ought to know. Now, going out of here before your mama sends your brother down the road to carry you home. Go on. Listen to what I tell you. And maybe, if you're real lucky, you'll get in your bed tonight and dream a good dream about that fish of yours. What do you call him? Clarence. Of course you dream, baby. Every night you go to sleep, you dream. You just might not remember them, that's all. But old Thelma believes that if you ask God to give you a good dream about that dead fish of yours, you'll get one. Miss Rose Jackson taught me that a long, long time ago. The day my Grandma Mattie died. I was just a little skinny thing like you. No, I didn't believe Miss Rose at first. But when I got home that night, I asked God to give me good dreams about my Grandma Mattie, and I got some. No, I don't remember much about him no more, sugar. Hey, you, listen here.
Thelma's got to finish scrubbing this floor. So pepper yourself back down the road before I have a mind to put you to work. You hear me? Oh, well then why are you standing there all wide-eyed, looking like the bottom of your feet been glued to this floor? Oh, Lordy, Lordy, I should know better than to get you started. All right, calm down. I'll tell you what. I'll see if I can't remember just a little piece of one, and you got to let me get back to work. You promise? Okay. Sit up here on the counter so you don't mess my floor up. There. Let me see now. Well, once I was walking. I was walking in some woods, big woods. You know, like the ones back behind church. Tall, tall pin oaks everywhere. It was nighttime, and the only light was from the moon. A big, round orange one. There wasn't a soul around, not a one. So I kept on walking. I walked till I see water a ways up. Looked like a river. So I run real fast up to it. And when I get there, I see a woman. A large one. She's sitting there under one of those big pin oaks, one real close to the river's edge. So I walk over to her, and I can see by the way she's sitting so tall, it's my Grandma Mattie. The moonlight shining real pretty on her face, and she's staring out across this big river. And she's smiling. The kind of smile like she always had when she sang in church on Sunday morning. She has on a long robe. Gold, I think it was. Sit down beside her. And I rub my fingers up and down her sleeve. It felt real, real smooth, like silk. She's still watching out over across the water when I tug on her sleeve and I say, Grandma Mattie, please, may I have a drink of water? And she turns her head and smiles at me, not a bit surprised by my being next to her. And then she bends down real slow, and she brings me up some water in her hands. And I lean over and I hold my fingers underneath hers and I sip it. Every cold bit of it. Oh, they look so strong, those hands of hers. So big and strong, just like they always did. Then, so there's a piece of one of old Thelma's dreams. Now, move your legs away from the sink so I can wring out this nasty mop. Ugh. Woo-wee, look at that filthy water, would ya? Oh. No, baby, I told you. That's enough now. Maybe some other time. But I gotta get... All right. All right. Hush. Hush now. One more piece. That's it. And you gotta get your bony butt out of my way. You hear? Mm-hmm. Let me think now. Let's see. Well, there was this one time I saw me sitting in an old rowboat with Grandma Maddie. Big old barnacles covered a good part of it, and a few patches of blue where the paint hadn't all worn away yet. Here we are, floating on the river. I see those pin oaks all up and down, and the leaves are red, red as fire. The sun looks to me like it's just coming up behind the trees. And it's making the water a real pretty shade. Almost like that pink there on your shirt. We're sitting there in that boat, facing each other. And I can hear crickets chirping. Soft and then loud. Soft again and loud again. And I'm watching Grandma's hands. She's holding tight to a long piece of wood. And she's paddling us across the river with it. They look so shiny, those hands of hers. Just like she rubbed them with corn oil, the way she always did. I see the big veins running in them, like limbs on them pin oaks. The breeze is blowing. Some of those red leaves are floating in the air. Some of them landed on Grandma's gold robe. So I start brushing them off. But she lets go of that piece of wood, takes a hold of my hands, and I can feel her big warm palms tied against mine. And I just sit there, real still. And I watch those leaves dancing, twirling real slow with the wind, and the boat's moving along with it. Grandma Maddie sits up real straight and real high, and she looks to see where the boat's taking us. I turn around to look too, and I see tiny white pearls, millions of them, spread out wide along the river's edge. And I say, Grandma Maddie, is that the other side of the river? But she don't answer me. And that's it, baby. That's all I know. Now, you go on home. You listen here, young lady. It's time for old Thelma to start waxing now. So, give me one of them rags there. Then jump off and get your hind parts moving. I mean it now. Stop. You know I'm not upset with you. I just want to get finished up here and get off my feet, that's all. Oh. Baby, I told you I don't remember no more. I hear you, all right. One, that's enough. One more piece. You clear? Well, first get yourself a rag and come on down here. Sorry, hon, but that's the deal. Go on now, get started. That's it. Big circles, like this. There you go. Now let me think. Another piece. It's coming to me. Yeah, I got it. I see me and Grandma Mattie sitting down by the river. We're sitting on those shiny white pearls, piled up real big. And the sun's up high, beating down on them. And they feel nice and warm under me. I look in Grandma's face, and I see those deep lines, every one of them, like grapevines, all going a different way. Her eyes are closed, but not like she's sleeping. It's like she's seeing something behind them. And I'm sitting, resting myself up against her. And I can see she's holding a drum, a bright red drum. And she's beating her hands on it. And it's making a deep, hollow sound. And she starts swaying one side to the next. And I'm moving along with her. Her hands still coming down on that drum. See, the sun's getting low now, and it's making the clouds look like fire. Big, orange, purple, and red flames. And I sit there watching them burning while I listen to Grandma's drum. Boom, boom, boom. It gets louder and louder, and I can feel it beating way deep down inside my belly. Boom, boom, boom. Up and down and up and down and harder and harder. Boom, boom. Faster and faster. Boom, boom, boom. And I say, Grandma Mattie, why are you beating your drum that way? But she's got her eyes closed and she don't hear me above her drum. And I keep asking over and over, Grandma Mattie, why are you beating that drum? And that's it, baby. That's the last piece. Now no, she never did tell me why. But you know, old Thelma got a good idea why. It was for her people. That's how come Grandma Mattie was drumming, for her people. Well, people like her mama, who died giving birth to her, and her daddy, who worked himself to the grave trying to keep food on the table. For Grandma Ruth, who raised her, her sister Florence, who she grew up sharing a bed with, her baby Nicole, who breathed her last breath in Grandma's arms, for her cousin Floyd, who killed himself with his own rifle,
and for her husband, old Grandpa Owen, who'd been working his field the day his heart gave out on him. And for that goldfish of yours. Yeah, for him too, baby. And for you and old Thelma. For that day our souls came down on this earth, and for the day they're going to leave it. So that's why Grandma Mattie was beating her drum. That's what it was. Now you run along. It's going to be dark out there soon. Go on now. And when you get home, you let your mama tuck you in nice and warm under your covers. Go on, baby. Go on home.